Hi guys, this is Chris Swanga and we are here to learn about fatherhood, father studies. We are here to get some knowledge, some wisdom from those of us who have gone ahead so that tuweze kuwa good fathers for our children. Today I'm here with Mr. Drake Masinde, somebody that I've been admiring from afar. From afar, Drake. I remember the first time nilichukua namba yako tu nikasema nitakutafuta later. Kwa sababu I've been listening to what you say, the interviews you've been going to, and I get some tips, wisdom hapa na pale.
Alright.
So it is a big honor to sit with you here. I can say you are our first special guest.
Okay, that's
Unatufungulia
nice.
yani kila kitu vizuri. You are the one who is gonna lay the foundation, if I can say, if I can use that, kwa sababu I honor what you carry.
All right.
Kabisa,
Asante.
kabisa.
Thank you for having me. Alafu for being like the first special guest.
Totally.
It's an honor, by the way.
To us.
Yes.
To us viewers. By the way, mtasikiza tu. This is mtasema kweli is a special guest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, Mr. Drake.
Yes.
I'm not so sure where to start from.
Where do you
Maybe
want to
by
start?
just, you can labda introduce yourself to us, maybe what you do.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Drake Masinde. I am a husband. I am a father. I am a child of God. I am also a coach to men. I teach, I train, I equip men in things about positive masculinity. I work with an organization called Broken Manacles and also Transform Nations, where we basically take men through various aspects of fatherhood, masculinity, and just basically being good, morally upright human beings. I've been doing it for the last 8 years, and that is with the men, working with the men. But I've been a man longer than 8 years.
True, you must have been one before you start
before you start
teaching
training.
and training.
Yeah, so over the things came to boil over the last 3 years, 4 years, where I think I've taken over 3,000 men through various programs. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here.
I'm tempted to say, where have I been? Why haven't I been part of the 3,000 men?
Yes. Because most of the programs we have are curated to specific needs in the journey of masculinity. But mostly it's just to bring men to that place where they can live a deliberate, positive, masculine life. Because you realize the world today has really emasculated the man.
Yeah.
And men are like, if you compare a lion and a cat, men are like the cats in this fight when they're supposed to be the lion.
The lion.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's what we do. We make the cat turn into a lion. Yeah.
Oh. And that has been done deliberately to make men be like a cat, if I can say.
Yes, because when you look at our society today, especially with the advent and the continuous propagation, especially by mass media of feminists' ideals and agendas, I don't have a problem with ladies being empowered and lifted, because for many years the society has had a very toxic patriarchal system that puts many women at a distinct disadvantage and even danger to their lives. Some of the practices like female genital mutilation, that deliberate disempowerment of women through the education system, those are things that cannot be allowed in the 21st century.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the boy child has been neglected.
Totally.
And it is so bad that many of the times, especially when I go around the country in the course of my work, I realize that many men are not living the true version of themselves. And when that happens, it affects society. That is why you find, like for example, in Kenya, the suicide rate among men is very high. In fact, 90% of the suicide cases that happen in our country happen with men. And when they happen with men, only 10% affect the ladies. Now, this is now the disconnect. The difference between suicide between a man and a woman is that a man successfully commits suicide. Yani, akiamua kukufa atakufa.
Ataenda.
Yeah. So that is something that should be very, very, it should scare us as a society.
True.
And also the cases of mental health issues among men. Mental wellness among men is at an all-time low, especially because of the harsh economic times. Because men feel that they're the ones who need to be able to do something and just go out there and become.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you find that the boy child has been neglected. There are basically very few programs that work for the boy child. And the reason I say boy child is because before you become a man, you must have been a boy.
Yeah.
But if you as a boy never went through the process of becoming a man, you are not going to be a fully grown man. So there are very many boys walking with men's bodies around our society. And I believe that the difference between a princess and a king is that a prince has the power, but they have no authority. But now a king is someone who has the power and he has the authority to exercise that power. And the reason we are seeing many women complain about men is because we have men who are walking around as kings, yet they do not even have that authority to wield their title as a king.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And all this is because of lack of training, somebody to take the boys to
Yes.
men. Does it mean that it starts with the fathers of these kids?
Yes, it does start with the father, because when you read books, because I've studied many books about this aspect, and I've sat in many forums, I've had quite a number of Bible studies, I've had, because also of the church background, I've also sat down with child psychologists, psychologists, psychiatrists. What I have discovered is, because the father is the source, is the progenitor, he is the foundation. If a father is not there to raise a child, it's going to be very difficult for that child to become a good version of a man.
True.
Because as opposed, anyone can be a boy. Anyone who grows up and the day the announcement is made at the delivery room, it's a boy, that is a potential man.
True.
But not every boy can become a man. Because the process of turning a boy into a man is through an initiation. So do we have those initiation processes? I happened to attend a rites of passage program in a certain church close by. And I remember when I attended that rites of passage, 85% of the people who came for the rite of passage were ladies. So the question was, where are the men?
For the boy child?
Yes.
Ladies are the ones who came?
Yeah, they are the ones who came to support because the fathers were not there.
Oh my goodness.
So we have a system where fathers think that the only role in the life of a child is to make money, pay school fees, pay bills. They are basically ATMs in human form. Pay all the bills, and then after that, you leave the child to their own devices. And that has brought a problem even in the way we are raising our children in society.
Because many men know that I'm only supposed to pay bills. So, if in that kind of a situation, and the harsh economic times where a man needs to go out and look for money so that he can be able to pay bills,
Yes.
how will he be able to balance between that, going to work, and being this present father? Because saa zingine is either uko present ama uko huko nje. Ama uko huko nje na how do you balance
The thing
that?
about being a father, you must be intentional about fatherhood. Fatherhood and being a dad is an intentional process. It is not natural for us to be intentional. It's a learned behavior. By learned, I mean you must put in place systems and things that help you become that father who will raise up children who are without dysfunction and good, morally upright members of society. For example, the roles of a man are not limited only to provision. Because if I say that the roles of a man are provision, there are many homes out there where the wife earns more than the husband. So if the wife earns more than the husband, my question is, what if she's the CEO?
Yeah.
And you are just a clerk in the same organization? What will stop this gentleman from becoming a man? Does it mean if your wife provides more, she's the man? Or she's the one who is the head of the family? No, that does not change. The fact is the man has to be the head of the family because that is part of the order that creates a harmony suitable for a child to grow up in a morally upright manner. But now the roles of a man are not limited to that. A man is also a teacher, he's a mentor. A man is a priest. A man is the servant leader. All these come with the roles of a man. Does it stop you from doing the 8 to 5? No. But I have seen instances where fathers almost lost their children because they were doing the 8 to 5. How do you have, like, for example, an 18-hour job where you don't see your kids throughout the week? How will they relate to you? I know when we look at our society nowadays, we say that a man has to sacrifice for the family. But sometimes you don't sacrifice at the altar of raising a child who is without dysfunction. So as men, we must get to the place where we are clearly able to define what is too much. When I sit with men and we go through coaching sessions, I realize this. Many men don't understand even that dysfunction.
Yeah.
The problem of men, especially men growing up, like I said, this is a learned behavior, is that men do not know what they need to do
Be a man.
to be a man.
Yeah.
Second, they don't understand the process. Third, they do not have the right information. So if this gentleman does not know what it is, what defines a man, he doesn't understand that process, he will not be able to acquit himself honorably as a man. And it's prevalent everywhere in society, not only limited to our country, but all over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah. So that is why the cry of many women that I meet is, where are the men? The men are there, but if they don't know what is required, they are ignorant of that, then it's going to be very difficult for these men to become what is expected of them.
Experience comfort and modern living in a stylish 2-bedroom Airbnb at Mevida Homes Garden City. Perfectly located, this serene space offers easy access to shopping, dining, and entertainment while providing all the amenities you need for your relaxing stay. Enjoy the convenience of a fully equipped kitchen, spacious living areas, and a peaceful environment in the heart of the city. Ideal for families, business travelers, and anyone seeking a comfortable getaway. Husbands, you can get away with your wife at this place. It is awesome, it's amazing, it is stylish and comfortable. Men, nimewapatia plug. Mwende mseme picha za wanga amewatuma. Au sio? Wow.
Yeah.
And we need also to teach our women that for you, you don't have to be there to act as the man in the home because you went on a lot of money. Ama, it is the man who's supposed now to stand
I
up.
don't believe you didn't need to teach the ladies. The man has to step up. You see, leadership in a home cannot operate in a vacuum. Like I said, I know many men whose wives earn more. But the order of the home has never been disrupted just because someone earns more. The lady could earn more, but she may need leadership even in the aspect of how to manage those resources. Or the man could earn more, but he needs the wife to help him manage the resources of the home. It's not very common, for example, but it has become more prevalent of late. Because notice this, many ladies between the age of 21, research has been done and studies have been done in Kenya. Ladies between the age of 21 and 35 earn more than men in the same age bracket by up to 60-70%. Men start earning more once they hit between 30 and 60. That's when men earn more. Now, what does that tell you? That most of the people who are getting married, the wife earns the same or more than they do. And so what does that make it? Does it make it a female-led household? No. The men should still take the lead. And when a man understands that he can take the lead even in that, it doesn't make you feel emasculated. You see, when men are emasculated, what it means is this man is not given that room or that place to express himself in the true qualities of masculinity, where you provide leadership, you mentor, you teach, you're the priest, you protect. Those are the things that men do. But if you do not have that place, many homes are going to crumble. Because when a man doesn't take that space, a lady will come up and do it. Because leadership hates a vacuum.
Yeah. And how do you lead as a man?
How
How
you
do you
lead
do it?
how you lead as a man is in different things. And I gave an example the other day when I was talking to some men. He was telling me his wife earns 10 times what he earns. And the guy doesn't earn small money.
Only 10 times.
Yes, the wife earns 10 times. The wife is smarter than him. Like, she's smart.
Totally.
Yeah. So he asked me, how do I provide leadership? I told him, every woman needs leadership. Now, for women, the core thing that they need is security. Security not only for themselves, but also for their children. Can you provide that security? And it's like, we live in a gated community.
I was about to ask, is it physical security?
Yeah, no, it's not only physical security. There's also the security which we provide as a priest. I believe if there's one particular aspect in a home that cannot be replicated by the lady, is that aspect of priesthood. Even if she's the bishop of a church or churches, because if you're a bishop of churches. If the man is the priest, he will still be the pastor to the bishop.
At home.
At home. So what that means basically is that particular role cannot be taken over by a lady. But men think, especially now that is where the emasculation comes in. Men think that if she's better than you in a particular thing,
she's better in everything.
She's better in everything else. So let me give that example. So this gentleman comes to me and tells me, my wife is smarter than me, she earns more than me, and I feel I can't lead her. And I tell her, why can't you provide her with security? But she has all the money. I told her, no. Just make sure that by the time you sleep every day, you're the one who checks the doors, the windows, walk around. And she asks you, what are you doing? You're telling her, I need to feel secure in this place. Do it deliberately. Don't do it because there's anything wrong, but you're just trying to show her you're on top of everything.
Yeah.
And when he started doing that, things changed. That's just a simple practice of what men need to do. I have seen men, like for example, I've seen men who, at the sight of trouble, they run. Your wife is like a Navy SEAL. In Kenya, they're called Rangers. Your wife is a Ranger. Our Kenyan version of Navy SEAls. So I asked him, so when trouble comes, are you the one who goes, or you tell your wife where and you're the one who has been trained? Kawambia, mi utoka hapo, unapiga nduru, Then unamwambia, boo, back me up, like that kind
but
of
umetokea
thing. But umetokea, wasione huyu jamaa atoshi mboga. So basically, as in, there are things a man must do. Like, that's a simple thing. Changing a light bulb. Learn, there's YouTube. How can your wife take your car, her car to the garage and your car? How can she have the mechanic's number and you don't know? You may hate it, but that's now where those are the small things you do to provide leadership. How can she change her own tire? Surely.
No.
Yani, you can't change a tire. And those are some of the things that we have a mentorship program for teenagers. So, and boys. But we also have one for girls.
Yeah.
But for boys, because that's where I'm involved specifically, we teach them basic skills. We teach them basic mechanic skills. We teach them how to repair their bikes. We teach them how to camp. We teach them basic carpentry, how to use a saw and a hammer, how to make simple things like a stool. Why are we doing this? Because we want that leadership to be not only about money, because I think that's where we have lost it as a society. I remember growing up, we used to have word of life camps. And I don't know whether they're still there nowadays, but when we used to have those word of life camps, we used to go places, sometimes Mombasa, everywhere. And in those word of life camps, people used to be taught those basic skills. So it's like growing up, every boy could use a hammer, every boy could be able to check the oil in their car, the radiator. Nowadays, you find a guy, he doesn't even know how to open the hood. It stopped. What happened? The car stopped. No, we can't make that a normal thing, you know. There are things men must do, and who will teach them? Fathers. And that's why fathers are very important.
Hapo umenifungua akili in an amazing way. How to do this, how to lead.
Yeah.
Tips hapo. Yeah. So kids who are growing without fathers, they need somebody else as a man pia ako in the picture.
Yes, you must have men who work with this child, especially if he's a boy, because children connect with the parents between the age of 0, the mother, 0 to 10. That is very tight. That's mom time. They're learning nurturing, they're learning emotional skills. Then from there, they connect with the father. Now, you need to understand something. I'll explain. When a man doesn't grow up with the father, they really struggle with their purpose and identity. Identity because you get your name from your father. He's the one who affirms you. He shows you acceptance. And he shows you affection as his child. That's the key. That's the key thing that makes a boy become a man. It's part of the process. Now, when a man doesn't grow up with the mother, they become too independent and they're emotionally immature.
When they don't
grow up with the love of a mother, yes. Too independent, emotionally immature. You remember growing up, there were these kids who they play outside till 9 p.m. That's like, when this person now gets into marriage, and you tell them that you must come home on time, they're thinking, what do you mean? If my mother, why are you telling me to come in by 8, that we have a schedule? You, when you come, you do your thing. Now that's how it translates into adulthood. Yeah. Then emotionally, they are not within themselves. Have you ever seen people you're dealing with, it's like they're inhuman. They don't understand that someone can be hurt. They don't understand. That emotional disconnect comes from the lack of a mother's love. Now with a boy, they struggle with their purpose. They are these people, they do one thing, they stop, they do another thing, they stop. They are struggling to find themselves, trying to fit in. It's like they don't know themselves. So they need someone to come and redefine them. And that's where now the church comes in. Because the things that affect how you, for example, grow are either your family, the church, or the environment in which you grew up in. So when you see these boys grow up into those kind of men, you can easily be able to tell this one grew up without a father, this one grew, yeah. Then, most people who grew up without fathers also don't have a sense of security. They are insecure because fathers provide that security. That's where their identity comes in. When something is yours, what do you do to it? You protect it. And fathers are because we are given our fathers' names.
Yeah.
Even in the Bible, Jesus was called the Son of God.
Good.
So because of that, you find that sense of insecurity and lack of identity and purpose comes because someone never grew up with a father. And it affects girls more than boys. But with boys, it's more profound because it's very hard to live, for it to leave them.
Well, you've taken me to some reflections about my daughter. And I have a first daughter.
Yes.
I don't live with her every day.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think my absence and what it has caused already. So now, hey, why?
You can join the dots.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So as a father, that's now if you're a father who doesn't live with your children, you have to be more deliberate about some things. Like if working towards this is like 100%, now you have to do like 150 or more.
Yeah.
Understand? So that you are able to cover up for that.
Oh. And you've said between 0 to around 10?
Yes,
That's when
0 to 10 is now where the mother
the
comes
mother.
in. So the mother teaches them nurturing because the mother nurtures them, teaches them how to be in touch with their emotions. The mother teaches them how to relate. Have you ever met people who never keep friends?
Totally.
Like
It's
they
hard.
struggle with
They
relationships. It shows something in their relationship with their mother.
Not the
Or if the mother was dysfunctional, it can easily translate into the children. Now, let's flip it. Between 10 and above, say 18, 16. Boys, no, with boys it can begin even from 8. From 8 and above, they disconnect from the mother and they connect more with the father. The reason they connect with the father is the one who introduces them to the world, to the social life, how to relate. Remember, when you read the Bible, people used to be introduced as son of Jesus, the son of
God.
like that, like that, like that, like that. Adam, the son of God.
Wow.
So, in society, it's also the same. That is why you hear somebody called somebody wa
Mtu fulani.
maina wa magoro. You know, that kind of thing.
Wanga wa ukechi.
Yes, like that. Because that's what fathers do. They introduce you to society. They introduce you to social systems. They are the ones who also point you towards your purpose. Now, when fathers are not there, that's when you lose that. So you don't have the security to be able to boldly and confidently go into whatever God has called you to do. That's why fathers are important, especially to the lives of their children.
Hapa tujapatia watu ideas as men, correct me, between 0 and 10. Anaweza sema, si Drake alituambia between 0 and 10, it's the mother mwenye ana play key
But
role.
before you have
So
a
maybe-
relationship with that child from
so you should be
10 to... So you must have a relationship.
yeah.
Because the
Before-
child
before
you'll not disappear and
Alafu tokee.
show up at 10 at come. No.
Thinking some can do that.
No,
Aseme,
that's
wacha
not
sasa
by
niende
the,
ni-
that's not how it works.
Okay.
It must be
Okay.
something that you have been cultivating over time. They see how you treat your wife and they're like, that's the first example that I see. That's something I can relate with. Like that.
Oh, okay.
But you see, many men are never there because
Totally.
of issues which came up from Kitambo about our society, the way it is structured, to be at a disadvantage to children. Do you know the society as is wired nowadays is not child-friendly?
And we are in this
Mothers are
same
too
society.
busy, fathers are too busy. So who is raising the kids? A house help.
Nani?
Who is dysfunctional?
The nani?
She came from a village somewhere where probably she was abused. Then she's raising your kids.
Tricky.
And you're like, I'm paying them. Then you leave it to teachers. Teachers are depressed.
So much.
salary is small.
Kidogo sana.
Yeah. So how ndo wanakurezia your
Okay.
kids? No. That's a huge danger.